Finally, I want to give you one more example of the way that data can be used effectively to optimize learning. And in this case, it's actually taking data and packaging it up in meaningful ways for instructional designers, course developers, people working with faculty responsible for the ultimate design and delivery of a course. In this case, this is a feature that is, apologies, not quite ready, but we'll be releasing in the spring of 2015. And this is really all about A/B testing and using data to continuously improve the content of a course and drive better and better results with each group of students that goes through it. So in this case, for example, that course designer, instructional designer, can look at learning objectives since the course began and can quickly see that there's an outlier learning objective with low performance. And by clicking on it, they can see the 3 specific skills that are tied to that learning objective, and they can recognize that there's one skill around characteristics of life that's causing students the most trouble. By clicking on that, they'll be able to go to the place in the course where that's covered, and if there are multiple places where that's covered, we'll show them where all of those places are. And then what they have an opportunity to do is click a menu and decide to deploy or create a new A/B test. And so here they're going to say, I want to create that. And they've identified that they think this paragraph down here, which is highlighted, is the problem paragraph. It's not as clear as it could be, and it's where this particular course developer thinks the problem might lie. And so what they're going to do is create an alternative. So in this case, I'm going to create a video from my desktop. I'm going to integrate that into my explanation. This is going to be me explaining what I think commonly trips students up. And then I can insert that along with a modified explanation that I've typed in using tools that we provide, web editing tools. And so now I have a condition A, which is the original. I have a condition B, which is my new explanation. And I can go ahead and deploy that into my course. I can now run that test. And the system will tell me once we've reached statistical validity and let me know that we have a result. And in this case, I apologize, we can now see that condition A around characteristics of life, that was the performance. Condition B, we can now see student performance has significantly improved. The system is therefore recommending we use condition B, and then with a simple click of the button, we can deploy condition B for all incoming students going forward. And so this is a good, I think, example of precise use of data to drive continuous improvement at a I think, very high return on investment. And then finally, one last point to wrap up the overview is just a comment about how this type of courseware is used. And I think what's important is modality is not so relevant. We see this type of courseware being used in pure online courses. We see people using these in self-paced, competency-based courses. I think it's really a question of the organization of instruction around the courseware that really changes, and what the goals of the institution or the faculty are in using it. So for example, we see that frequently it's simply adopted as textbook replacement. Textbooks are fairly expensive, static, somewhat ineffective in the grand scheme of things, teaching resources and learning resources. And we see schools and faculty simply replacing that product with this product, asking students to do their work away from the classroom in the courseware itself and improving results as a result of being more actively engaged, getting better feedback and support, and there's very little other change in instructional practice around that. We see better results when teaching insights are gleaned. So for example, that idea that I can see what learning objectives are underperforming, and I can go ahead and address those learning objectives with my class. Just leveraging that data insight allows me to get some improvements, even though I'm not drastically modifying my traditional course of instruction. Continuing to move up the degree of change spectrum and the learning impact spectrum, we think of instructional innovation. This might be a flipped classroom. This might be grouping students into tutorial sections together by groups of students struggling with the same things, or cohort pairing using data to see students who are mastering a subject get paired with students who are struggling. Lots of different types of interventions that could be organized here to gain better student learning outcomes. And then ultimately to systemic innovation, where an institution really wants to leverage data and drive improved outcomes. Maybe they're going to bring in tutors to partner with faculty, and those tutors are going to benefit from highly targeted interventions based on knowing exactly who needs help and with what they need help. It might be about better triaging. We have coaches and life advisors versus academic advisors, and we want to be able to look at data and see, does the problem appear to be engagement, in which case maybe we need to pass this over to a life coach, as opposed to the problem happens to be topic and academic specific to a topic, and I want to pass that over to a tutor or an academic coach. And you start to get much more efficiency and impact out of each intervention as a result of that. So with that, I'll conclude this basic overview of Acrobatiq. I hope that it was somewhat instructive, and thank you very much for your time.